Lasker CSI Lab, which explores the principles of polymerase chain reaction and gel electrophoresis by taking students through an investigation of a murder mystery. Investigating the crime scene, the student collects blood samples and hopes that the murderer has left traces of DNA. After sampling, the student accesses a virtual lab to perform DNA analysis. In the lab, a PCR kit, purified DNA from the crime scene, and a full lab bench setup are available. It is now up to the student to mix the correct reagents and perform PCR on the PCR machine in the lab. A 3D animation will show the polymerase chain reaction at the molecular level, illustrating DNA structure and replication. Quiz questions will be asked throughout the experimental process, as well as at specific steps of the PCR reaction itself. Students run a gel on their collected sample and other previously prepared samples from suspects.
Thank you and welcome back to the tournament program. As we get ready for team event number 2 to close out the opening day of competition. As well by top 6 after event number 1 here on screen. CrossFit Jena in the top left is the event 1 winner. Oslo Wolfpack will be in the second position athlete program. In third, Butcher's Lab in fourth, AOD Fitness in fifth, and Memphis Movement in sixth. As they work across the screen, left to right. That top line being the top 3, the bottom line being fourth, fifth, and sixth, as we are underway with a longer test of the 2 today. And we somewhat saw this on the individual side, but now we're throwing the synchro version in it as the men attack this pyramid style workout first. Jamie, what are you looking for that's a little bit different perhaps with the team component?
Yeah, I'm thinking on both ends. Of the individual side, you only have yourself to worry about, but on the team side, you have to really play to like everyone's strengths and weaknesses, and everybody is part of it. So really, you have to like stay in tune with how your partner's doing, when they're tired, when they need to take a break. Kind of really like honing on how they're doing.
This one, the reps are a little bit lower than the individual version. That's 35 synchro dumbbell shoulder to overhead, 35 synchro dumbbell deadlift, 35 synchro GHD sit-up, and 75 synchro single arm dumbbell overhead squats. That's as fun to say as it is to do. And then that one right there, they're going backwards, GHD sit-ups, dumbbell deadlifts, and then the shoulder and overheads. Once the men's pair is done with those 50-pound dumbbells, and then the women's pair's turn at 35 pounds on each dumbbell.
Now you see the difference of in the middle, also Wolfpack, they're side by side, right? And then underneath them, AOD Fitness, they're kind of one is staggered behind the other, so the person in front has no idea where the person behind they just better be following along. Kind of preference. I feel like I would be the one personally in front because I just go and talk to my teammate was so great. It's just kind of like letting me go down the pace and matching that. So good teammates.
Nice little hop there. Good GHD for one of the bell hops at AOD Fitness. That was pretty smooth there as they start working on those 35 GHD sit-ups. And we're just 2 minutes in. 3 of our top 6 teams after that first event already working on that third of 7 movements here for the first of 2 pairs through this chipper style workout.
2, 1.
Now 35 isn't as many as on the individual side as 50, but it is going to be synchronized, so that's going to be the tough part about this. So those GHD sit-ups, oh man, those are really tough, really fast, and so kind of making sure you're on the same page with someone, that's a tough task.
And it's a tough task to chase down Oslo Wolfpack on the top middle of the screen as they were the first ones to those GHD sit-ups. One of the few examples we saw of that side-by-side style that you pointed out here a moment ago, and they're already onto the midway point with 75 synchro single arm dumbbell overhead squats. And again, you'll notice on the top of every box is that red line. The farther to the right that extends, the farther through the event that these athletes are going through. And Oslo Wolfpack, they're going to open up a large lead here in this group of 6 teams that we're keeping our eye on.
And it's always interesting, you have your men are going first, followed by the females after that, so yes, they can get a big lead to start, and then it's up to their women to hold on and keep that lead and take charge to finish and bring that finish line.
You'll see that side-by-side for Oslo Wolfpack top and middle, AOG Fitness and the athlete program both going with that front and back, the top right and bottom middle portions of the screen, and nearly simultaneously Mendes Froendt and Janat are moving on to the overhead squats as well, midway through this opening pair.
You see that quick change of the hand, the dumbbell overhead, switch overhead AOG Fitness in the bottom middle. I feel like that style where you're kind of staggered, one person's in front, one's behind. It feels like a worm almost. I know that's a popular, maybe not so popular once. I did not like that, but definitely that's the kind of feeling instead of a staggered line and everyone right behind each other.
I was thinking about that because when you go in front and back, if you're in the front, you don't know what the person behind you is doing, but that is a good comparison there with the form. If you're in the front of that, you don't know what they're doing, except for you're getting like pulled backwards or something, but
Yeah.
these keep making it work. You went 4 to 6 going with this front and back style.
Top left, see, it kind of got a little bit off where everyone's watching it, but the no rep is huge on this. Lots of times they're exhausted in this and trying to do C-throw with a no rep, trying not to get frustrated.
Well, they're going to went through the exchange and synchronized version there for CrossFit now on the top left, and they're getting back to work on those overhead squats on the set of 75, where they turn back around to the 35 GHC sit-ups, dumbbell deadlifts, and shoulder to overhead, still in that synchronized version. 2 dumbbells each on the dumbbell deadlifts and shoulder to overhead. And we're just past 5 minutes in, and these are the top 6 teams after event number 1 in the point standings, with CrossFit Janat taking that opening event. Oslo Wolfpack in the top middle, getting pretty close, I do believe, to advancing to the GHC sit-ups, making their way back down this pyramid rep scheme.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. You get fatigued. Your legs are burning, you gotta go straight back to like GHC sit-ups, and take a second.
And that seems like that's the sticking point here in this event, where you're having to go from the GHC sit-ups to the overhead squat back to the GHC sit-ups. That just seems to be where it's hitting most of the athletes, the individual side and the group side.
Yeah, I thought going back to the GHC sit-ups right after it really, they sneak up on you, like getting sets of even 10 seems sometimes impossible, you know, so that's breaking it up smaller, and just a set the rest at the top might help out, but these guys look at the top, also look better, they're moving.
And they are out in front, top middle of the screen. Second place going to be the athlete program out of the UK on the top right. Third place is going to be a close race between AOG Fitness bottom middle and CrossFit Janat top left. The Butcher's Lab and Mendes Froendt, the outside of those bottom lines, bringing up the rear of the field here in this group of 6. But again, there's still another pair that's yet to go with the women that'll have the second half of this event. So there's still a long way left in this one.
That's right, I was just gonna say, see the women waiting behind or on the side cheering on their guys, you know, you're waiting and you're cheering them on, but you know you don't want to work to do, so it's kind of a little bit, the rush, getting another, you know, maybe nerves, maybe excited, a little bit of everything.
And in team experience, is that something that you've had to deal with, or even the one waiting, or do you prefer to be the person that just goes out there and gets it done early?
I like to go first. I like to get it done. I like to cheer them on at the end. So then you get to set the pace, and you know, and then they got to bring it on at the end.
Speaking of bringing it back and bringing it home, Oslo Wolfpack top middle, they are ready to do the GHC sit-ups under the final 70 reps with those pairs of dumbbells, and they are making their way through this opening half of the event very quickly. See the GHCs getting set up for the women's pair that'll be going second to get that riser that'll help out shorten that gap so that they'll have to reach back.
Another interesting thing to look at is also the height of the different chairs. For the most part, everyone looks pretty about the same, but if you have a discrepancy between heights, one's really tall and one's shorter, these deadlifts might be a little bit off, and make sure you time it perfectly on everything, the overhead squats and the shouldered overhead.
Quick work for Oslo Wolfpack already on the dumbbell shoulder to overhead, and they have opened up a large lead over the athlete program on the top right, AOD Fitness bottom middle, and CrossFit Janana top left. As Butcher's Lab also has made their way to the dumbbell deadlifts, but it is Oslo Wolfpack that is cruising through this opening half.
Yeah, that would be nice to have a little bit of a lead for the women coming in. Then they know, I mean, actually, they don't know. Because they know where it's still. In a live competition, you would be really excited about this, but yeah.
And of course, speaking of that, we do have obviously the virtual format, so nobody knows where they are. As they completed this, there were no results shown, obviously, but that's for anybody at that point in time. But the other thing too is there's still several other teams that are doing this event, obviously, and so we're just keeping our eye on these six, but other times will be a factor. And so not necessarily that the fastest team here in this group of six will win the event.
Right, and so that's why,
Sorry, go ahead.
that's why they have to just trust their training, you know? They work together for so many months preparing for this, they kind of running through these hopefully and before they have the chance to. So because you don't have other times and people to go off of, they're just trusting that they're prepared and then they know how to read each other and then when to push and when they're going to go to things.
And we do have the switch made for Oslo Wolfpack as they got opening here at 9 minutes and 50 seconds unofficially, so they'll move on to the second half. Same exact workout. This time it's being different at 35 pounds on those dumbbells for the female athletes. This is going to be a large lead for their second pair.
Yeah. Oh, here's the big one.
The athlete program a good 40 seconds back as Oslo Wolfpack already onto the dumbbell deadlifts. So they're going to have about a 30 to 35 rep lead over the athlete program. CrossFit Janana has moved on to the second pair as well. And AOD Fitness really struggling to close out with this opening half of the event.
This workout is it's very interesting because it's kind of tough for shoulder strength, right? And then we're going to move on to your deadlifts. So me personally, I'm not very good at deadlifts, so I would have to my partner, my teammate would have to go off of me and bring them up to the sets when I'm ready to go. So that's the thing that we're looking for is like your stronger athlete's going to have to play to the athlete that is not so much in their wheelhouse.
And that's the interesting strategy when you get these synchronized ones where you might have somebody that's a little bit stronger on something and they've really got to change their style. And
Yes.
to be the person that might struggle with the movement. I feel like that's something that doesn't really get talked about a whole lot. It's the person that's stronger of the two in movement, having to kind of dial back a little bit. Now there's some difficulty with that.
Right, the messing up your team like on GHD setups, if you have to slow yours down a little bit, that's going to mess up your tempo, your timing, and your pace on those. But because if that's what you're up and you're good at them, it shouldn't be too big of a problem, but it definitely makes it a little bit more difficult.
Not a whole lot of difficulty here for Oslo Wolfpack. They continue to lead the athlete program on the top right of the screen, second place. They're also on their GHD sit-ups and closing the gap a little bit, but Oslo Wolfpack already onto the overhead squats. This one was just one dumbbell as opposed to the other two movements that feature a pair of dumbbells. But it's Oslo Wolfpack top left in first, athlete program top right in second, and CrossFit Janana will be third place here in this group of six as they start on the GHD sit-ups on the top left.
And then your bottom right, those guys are pushing us. The women are still waiting to come on with us. So they're just kind of
And that is is going to hurt them significantly in the point standings. So just this pace difference, if they're a bit 3 minutes, 20 seconds back from the transition point alone, and they're still finishing up those shoulder to overhead. So this is going to be a significant point impact, as they're going to have a pretty low finish unless the female pair can really bust out something special.
Yeah, that's the thing about teams. You live in another team, and the weakest link is, everyone is